but he's their number one. So then Juju's their number 2. Or their tight ends with both Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki, they can play that 12 tight end role. So if you're New England and you're being honest about your roster and you want to legit be a playoff contender this year, you cannot let DeAndre Hopkins out of your building, both for your football team and your third-year quarterback.
The New England Patriots are in a place of limbo, in a place that they haven't been for 20 years. And in 2021, this team finished 10-7, which wasn't bad for their first year without Brady. And Mac Jones really shined that season, finishing with the 67% completion rate for 3,801 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions, while being a Pro Bowl alternative. But in 2022, everything changed. This team finished 8-9, Mac Jones dealt with injury, and he was benched at one point in time this season. But there are 2 different directions this team could go in, and today we're here to talk about how an improved Mac Jones, plus the additions of Mike Gesicki and Juju Smith-Schuster, could have this team right back to where they want to be. Let's shift our attention to the quarterback spot. And of course in Foxborough, a 16-16 record through 2 seasons just won't cut it. But there are still plenty of reasons to be optimistic. Take this play for example. The Vikings are in cover 1, and we can tell that because they have Harrison Smith rolled down into the box once the ball is hiked. The Patriots run a play action, which actually does its job by sucking the safety down in the box, and once Mac Jones sees that, he knows he only has a split second to fit this ball in behind him. Mac Jones has shown time and time again that he does have the touch and throwing ability to be able to survive in today's NFL. This season, he finished with a 65% completion rate for 2,997 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. And although there were a multitude of reasons as to why Mac Jones had the season he had, I just want to focus on his strengths and where he could get better. This play here is another great example as to why I believe if you surround Mac Jones with playmakers, he can take care of the rest. Kendrick Bourne is the decoy, Nelson Agholor is the target. Crossing routes often cause miscommunication in zones because linebackers are often confused if they should follow a guy outside of their zone or if they should pass him through the zone. And if I know that, Bill Belichick definitely knows it. And here he has Nelson Agholor block and release, which make these linebackers start to leave their designated spots. And as that happens, Nelson follows right through the exact area Kendrick Bourne just cleared out for the easy completion. But trust me, I've heard the worries that Patriots fans have about him not looking comfortable in the pocket and not pushing the ball downfield. But that's actually not true at all. Mac Jones had 21 big-time throws this season, and a big-time throw is a pass that is generally thrown downfield with excellent ball location and timing. So yeah, 21 of those, and on passes thrown 20+ yards downfield this season, he was 26 for 67 for 808 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And Mac started to look better as the season went on, of course, putting up his best performance against the Minnesota Vikings where he threw for 382 yards and 2 touchdowns. The problem is that wasn't sustainable and he never duplicated that performance before or after that game. The numbers certainly aren't the best, but Mac has proven he can get the job done in the NFL. And with the help of Mike Gesicki coming in, that just adds more proof to the pudding. If there's one thing we know about the New England Patriots, they love a good quarterback tight end duo. And with Jonnu Smith leaving, this feels like the perfect replacement. Much like his quarterback, Mike Gesicki is also in a prove-it type year after finishing last year with only 32 receptions, 362 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Just a few seasons ago, Mike Gesicki was one of the most promising tight ends in the league, but the additions of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle left him as the odd man out in Miami. New England only scored touchdowns on 42% of their red zone trips in 2022, ranking last in that category. And if there's anything we know about Mike Gesicki, it would be the red zone threat that he is. And that would help this Patriots offense mightily. Gesicki is also coming off a season where he had career lows across the board. And while that may seem like a bad thing, I'd actually look at it as he's coming in motivated to prove that he's one of the best tight ends around the league. He's lined up out wide more than just a couple times with the Dolphins, and I believe that's the exact way the Patriots should utilize him as well. Allowing Hunter Henry to have majority of the tight end snaps and having a freakish athlete like Gesicki on the outside. Mike's combination of size and speed allows him to always have an advantage, rather it's being too big for corners and safeties or too fast for linebackers and DNs. His playstyle revolves around him using his athletic ability to tilt every matchup in his favor. His wide catch radius helps him make difficult catches in traffic, and his athleticism allows him to excel in jump ball situations. While he's often targeted downfield, he can stretch defenses as a vertical threat. He's a versatile player who could be thrown all around the field, and now with this offense of Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, Hunter Henry, Juju Smith-Schuster, and himself, the chips seem to be falling in place. Now transitioning to Juju, the Patriots have to be happy about this signing, and more importantly, when they signed him. With Juju coming off his first Super Bowl with the Chiefs, it's clear he'll come in ready to commit to the Patriot way. Juju, just like these other two guys, he's in the limbo part of his career, and by that I mean he was off to a great start with Pittsburgh, and then things fizzled out there, and he was able to reboot his career with the Kansas City Chiefs. Juju finished last season with a strong 78 receptions, 933 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This was his best season since his breakout year in 2018. And with the 78 receptions and 933 yards that he posted, he would have led New England in both of those categories. An impressive part of his game that was displayed this season was his yards after catch. He finished with 468 yards after the catch this season, which was the second best of his career. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's one of the most dynamic players in the NFL, but he has the skill set to turn a small play into something more. This stat just makes me double down on the point of if you give Mac Jones weapons, he'll take care of the rest. And having an experienced, sure-handed receiver like Juju can make his job that much easier. Juju's the kind of guy who makes a quarterback's life easier. He's always in the right places when you need him. He doesn't mind contact or running through the middle of the field, and he can play the short, intermediate, or long ball when needed. I mean, Juju is the complete package for a team searching for a wide receiver 1. But on top of everything he brings mentally and physically, you're getting a guy who's been there before on the biggest stage and has shown up. This fourth quarter drive from the Chiefs in the Super Bowl will always be known as the Juju drive, as he finished this drive with 4 receptions for 38 yards, and I don't know about you, but that's the type of output I would want from my wide receiver 1. And as it stands today, Juju will be the Patriots' number 1 option. That is, unless they scoop up DeAndre Hopkins from free agency. But that's a talk for another day. The Patriots have the identity, the coaching, and now the players. The question is, can they put all the pieces into the right place to complete the puzzle? And if you enjoyed this video, leave in the comments part 2 or Mac, depending on the next video you'd like to see over your Patriots. And while you're at it, check this video out also, which is all about a divisional rival who also have Super Bowl hopes. Peace.